Welcome back, Youngzers. Season 2, episode 3, I think, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
episode 3. We're back on the track of counting. We're not good with numbers here sometimes, so bear with us.
Bad news,
Uh,
Ryan. Bad news for you.
What?
This is the first ever Youngzers hostile takeover episode.
For what?
Dan, I've got Dan's back, and we're cutting you off right now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We're not putting any Pirates talk in today. Not even the trade deadline. But you know damn well why. Right here.
That's what I was going to kick it off anyway. That's the biggest news this week by far.
We had to make sure. We didn't want. There's no mention of the Pirates or anything today. We know you love talking about the Buccos, and
I'll go off on a tangent. I don't care. You can't stop me.
You can only hope to contain
we said the number 3 hauler in the group and the number 1 Bucco fan. We don't know if we can continue. You know, you want to laugh.
Yeah.
That's not even my first thought. My first thought is like what Dan's hiding under his hat. Let's be honest.
It's
a little
just
high
hair.
on top. There's something going on under there, like a rat cooking food or something.
It's just hair. Look at all that.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
It's all hair.
He's hiding Jeff Carter on long-term IR underneath.
There's like something under there, you know.
It wouldn't be Michael Granlund, I'll tell you that. I ain't hiding that bitch under there.
You know why?
Yeah, because
Karlsson's a Penguin.
That's right. That's the biggest news in Pittsburgh sports today. If you ask me,
happened.
Yeah, about an hour ago, 2 hours ago, something like that.
I was driving home, so I don't even have my bearings straight yet. I glanced for a second at what they traded. Most I can remember is Petrie and Granlund. That's the only thing. Maybe a draft pick,
All
but
right, so
uploading some scrap.
Yeah, I have it pulled up here.
Almost every bad contract that they had on the roster, minus Jeff Carter.
Right. Jeff Carter.
Granlund, so they didn't have to buy him out. So they unload Granlund, they unload Petrie, they unload Ruda, which whatever. I believe a first and second.
First and second, yep.
And Nathan Legare,
yeah,
who was never going to play in Pittsburgh anyway. That was Kyle Dubas is a god. I will say that right now. That is just he undid basically the whole Ron Hextall era in one day.
Yeah, and you can't be mad about that because they got out from under all those bad contracts. Like we said, except Jeff Carter, but I can live with one bad contract because it happens. Mm-hmm. Every team's going to have a bad one, or you extend a guy, or you give a guy a little bit more money than you should have. But we were so handcuffed with all the Petrie, Granlund, even Jan Ruda, Casey DeSmith, bringing him back, and he's always hurt. It's just, I think this is a win, and it got me jazzed up.
And they got a bottom 6 winger who's pretty solid, Pitlick from Montreal. And they cleared $3 million in cap. They're $3 million, I believe, under the cap now.
Yeah.
After it came out. So the equivalent of this is loading up NHL on your favorite console and creating all your bad contracts and some, sweeteners for a Hall of Famer. And you go on there, it's going to be, San Jose and Montreal. Like, what are you doing? We're declining this trade.
Yeah.
In the real world, Kyle Dubas just took Mike Greer and fleeced him on that deal. Yeah. I mean, for a future Hall of Famer, and, in some cases, that's going to be Letang insurance, because, he has his injury issues, which every player does. It's the NHL, toughest league to play in. But, they were talking about Letang, years ago. He would not have wanted to come off the first power play.
Right.
And he's at that point in his career where he was more than willing, when they were talking about it, that he's fine with taking that power play, getting off the first power play, which just makes your second power play now even more lethal, where you have Chris Letang coming out for the second power play unit. I mean, this team is going to be, this is the last ride for this team. That's what it is, bottom line.
Yeah. So I didn't really understand, you guys obviously know the ins and outs of the contracts, like the money. Obviously, I know draft picks aren't as valuable in the NHL unless you're 1-1 with a generational talent. Yeah. But just doing the quick eyeball test, I was like, it doesn't seem like the Penguins are really giving up that much, or they unloaded some guys that, I've heard a lot of people giving guff the past couple months. Granlund wasn't what he was before. That was a horrible Hextall trade. Petrie, same kind of deal. But who's to say that we still don't somehow unload Jeff Carter, or maybe give him a second chance? He had a good year 2 years ago. I don't think he's the same situation as Granlund and Petrie. because, Jeff Carter did kind of earn that, I guess, that little extension, because he did play pretty well 2 seasons ago. Who's to say, like, maybe something was wrong with him? We see it in other sports too. Like Reynolds, he's hurt. He's coming back around. See how I snuck some Pirate stock in there? Didn't stop me there. But who's to say that Jeff Carter wasn't nursing something and still, playing the whole year? And you'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt and hope he comes around. So I wouldn't mind them keeping him. But if they could unload him, sure, go ahead. It's like, do what you do what you don't kind of situation with me.
I think, like Dan said, you live with that one bad contract. Jeff Carter has that, a lot of these contracts have the either full or modified no trade clause. So they submit the list of teams they don't want to get traded to. And when you look at it overall, okay, Carter on the fourth line, whatever. You gotta give him less minutes, that's for sure. I don't think it was injury. He's just old. The wheels fell off. That's what happens in hockey.
In hockey, it's hot. Yeah. It's quick. Yeah.
But the big thing, like you said, okay, the Penguins really didn't give up much in the grand scheme of things at all.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that was because San Jose really did not have any leverage. Karlsson won it out. Carolina and Pittsburgh were the two teams, and Carolina made some moves that basically said, okay, we're out of the Karlsson sweepstakes. So it really came down to that third team, Montreal, getting Petrie back. I think they traded Hoffman to the Sharks too. So the Sharks do get somebody back that's, somewhat decent. But when there's no leverage like that and you're taking on these like bad contracts, if you're San Jose, I mean, they were really in it for the picks and, maybe taking a swing, here and there, but they had no leverage. They knew it. They knew they had to get Karlsson off the books. And that's basically what happened. And now the Penguins have two future Hall of Famers on the blue line right now, which the Penguins, I'm going to say it right now, they're back. Even with Gensel out with that ankle surgery.
He'll be back early season.
I'll get into that.
Yeah.
I just want
to, Dubas he's done a great job this offseason. He got the bottom six better defensively, maybe a little bit offensively, and then you basically revamp the blue line, and now your goaltender situation, you have Jari, and you got a little competition, Nedeljkovic behind him, hey, whoever, but this was what Penguin fans have been waiting for, and you pair that up with the Steelers hype right now, suddenly the Pittsburgh sports scene,
is it back? That's the question. I think it's back. I think
here's what I told you guys. Like, it's that roller coaster. Summer, you're watching like nothing. You're going up the hill, like anticipation's building. We're like right about here. If you're thinking in terms of like Phantom's revenge, you're like right about here. Steelers starting, Penguins coming up. Like, you're making moves. We're getting like here pretty soon, and then we're kicking off. We got bucks, we got pucks, and we got pigskins. We
got one more thing, which is Kendrick Green playing fullback. Pittsburgh sports were back as soon as I saw Rosie Nix 2.0 in the backfield.
The crowd loved
linebackers.
So I just want to touch on the Pens real quick. With bringing Karlsson in, it's huge. It really is. It years ago, I always felt like Erik Karlsson was a Chris Letang Jr., very offensive minded, can move the puck, log a lot of minutes. And like you said, where Letang is in his career, to be okay with coming off the first power play makes your second power play that much more lethal. There for a while, our second power play was the only thing that was scoring on special teams for us. With a man advantage in your top unit can't get it done. I just think that makes your second unit much more dangerous. It does. You got two guys that can quarterback the power play like that. Both right-handed shots. Both will let it fly. They're not afraid to. I think they mirror each other very, very well. They both log a lot of minutes. And I think that'll help Chris Letang stay fresher. I know he's had health concerns. I'm not even going to say injuries. He's had strokes. The guy's had strokes. I'm number one guff giver to Chris Letang. But for a guy you could tell just wants to win again, because he's been there 3 times. He's done it 3 times. The one time he was out, broke his ankle. So I'd say 2.5 times, because he played half the season that year and couldn't get back for the playoffs. And nobody thought that they would win that cup. But you get guys like Trevor Daley come in and fill that role, offensive minded, quarterback the power play. The whole Jeff Carter thing, I think you put him down there bottom 6, third line maybe, fourth line for sure. you put him out there on the PK too. He's still a bigger guy. Great in the dot. He really is. I will not knock him for that. I know the wheels kind of fell off. He lost the step, but in the dot might have been our best face-off guy. So if you look ahead to what we got coming back, we have the core. If Crosby, Malkin, and Letang play the majority of the games like they did last year, you bring another offensive defenseman in, a weapon like that, you clear a bunch of cap. You're $3 million under the cap now. How do you not make more moves to improve maybe your bottom six? Maybe bring in a top six winger for Gino or something. I don't know what's out there right now. I haven't really looked. I wasn't too excited about the season yet, but you always had this buzz of the Karlsson, so it kept me invested a little bit. And I was just dropping some heat, and I just opened up X now. It's X. It's not Twitter anymore. And that was the first thing. I was like, whoa, like this didn't just happen because I didn't get any noties or nothing.
No.
But it was, like we said, it was a 3-team deal. Montreal coming in really helped us out. Didn't give up a lot. Got out of a lot of bad contracts. Ended up getting a 3rd-round pick back as well. Gave up 2 draft picks. I think our window's open for another 2 years as long as Crosby and Malkin play the level that they did. You know Crosby's going to. The big question mark is on Evgeny Malkin. Can he have a season like he did last year? Did he play all 82? If not, he probably played like 79.
He might have been like
78,
a week
79,
out.
something like that. Yeah, so for a guy in his mid-30s to play all those games and have an impact, because everyone thought he was a liability 5-on-5, and I think Gino played just fine. The big thing is, what the hell is Jake Gensel doing playing in this Butte League or whatever he played in? And everyone wants to say that, oh, he didn't get hurt there. He was hurt somewhere else. No, he just played in this Butte League. But 2 weeks ago, comes and now he's got an ankle injury that's not healing right, so he's got to go get surgery. What are you doing?
I think what they said is like Crosby, was it last year, a couple of years ago with the wrist where he had surgery on it? I guess they said it's been nagging Gensel, and it got to the point where basically, all right, he needed the surgery. Like he was still playing through it. I guess he's had this injury, like a nagging one, for a while.
Okay.
But now it's the point where like Crosby's wrist.
So it was one of them ones that.
So why not do it earlier in the summer?
Right.
Because now potentially
maybe because it just, he aggravated it. It got worse. It wasn't healing right. Something like that.
So it's one of them.
I don't
ones
think that means the best look for the optics of it. But
yeah. But so
here's the thing. There's some sports, or most professional sports, you just never let your players like that play in another league. Like NFL, they have nothing like that. Those players aren't going to touch another field.
Baseball does, though.
Baseball does, and you see what happened to Edwin Diaz.
Yeah.
Well, he's celebrating at the World Baseball Classic.
Not even that. You got a lot of those Dominicans, Cubans, and stuff. They go play in their summer or their winter leagues down there in their home countries. So that happens.
But you love to have your players get experience. Like, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Like, no one's mad until they get hurt.
Jake Gensel doesn't need to be playing in a league like that. That's my whole thing. And I understand if it's one of them injuries where, hey, you could sit and be off the ice for 3 months. You could have taken the whole off season, and as soon as you touch the ice, it's going to re-aggravate, and you're going to have a nagging pain there again. I get that, but it just doesn't look right. It doesn't look good for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
But here's the thing: like, don't do it that close to season either.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're going to play in a league, I'm pretty sure in baseball they probably do it way before February. They report to media. They're probably playing right after they get eliminated or right after the World Series. Like, why are you playing that competitively that close to when the season starts? Where, hey, if you do get hurt pretty badly or you need to get surgery, you're going to be cutting into your own season. Like this Butte League, it don't matter what you do there. And I don't think Gensel, of all people, is really going to benefit from playing in another league.
Absolutely not. No,
I don't think so, because his main thing is being a play toy for Sidney Crosby, which the only way you're going to learn is playing with a guy better than you. It's going to feed you like a baby every day. So I don't know if maybe he's trying to work on a personal game or but there's no way that game speed is as competitive as the NHL, or he's going to be put in situations like he's going to be in, when he's playing for the Penguins.
Basically a beer league. That's all it is.
And here, you're not making any money there. Here's the other thing. You got to look at, like the NFL has a lot in their contracts, like for their quarterbacks and stuff. Hey, you can't be on jet skis. You can no motorcycles so close to the season and this and that. There's clauses like that in contracts. Why does the NHL?
That was not Naheem Hines' fault. That's bullshit. Don't slander that.
I'm just saying.
He was stationary and got hit by a rogue jet skier.
Did he get rolled up on, or did he take like a back shot by the jet ski, or like how'd that go down?
He got basically T-boned, like it crushed his leg. Yeah,
it blew out his ACL is what they said. But look at Big Ben. Big Ben wrecked his motorcycle. And then
Big Ben was a menace back then.
He was. He had that like nasty boys hairdo going, like the long on top, shaved on the side. But in his clause from then on, they said no motorcycles. If they see you on a motorcycle, your contract's void. You know, things like that people don't understand are in contracts for these athletes because the organizations are investing into these players a lot of money in hopes that you get them to a championship. So you have to take care of your body for success of the organization. And if you're going to jeopardize that, by all means, you shouldn't get paid. What is Jake Gensel doing out there on the ice in a league where you don't make any money? Is it for charity? No. Like that'd be the
I don't know
only
anything
thing
about this league.
Yeah, that'd be the only thing I could see. Like if it's for charity, I'm a big charitable guy. I can turn a blind eye to that, like him being out there for that. But if it's just to have fun because your buddies want to put a wagon of a team together, like Patty Kane playing in them beer leagues when he'd go back to Buffalo, like Chicago found out about that and they're like, nah, they put a stop to that real fast.
Yeah, they put those clauses in, like you said, like Big Ben off the motorcycle. Cleveland said Deshaun Watson can't be within 100 yards of a massage parlor.
I think the judge told him that.
I'm sorry.
Jeff Reed, he had a clause he couldn't go in sheets.
Right? Well, yeah, stay out of bathrooms.
Anywhere with a paper towel dispenser, But
they have the air hand dryers all throughout Heinz Field for them.
Here's the other thing: who's to say? Like I bring it back to like Patrick Kane going back to Buffalo and playing with his buddies in those beer leagues. Who's to say some jamoke sees him's like, I'm going to take a run at this guy. I'm nobody. He's somebody. Well, I don't take his head off.
He'd probably be immediately killed on the ice if he took a run at an NHLer.
No,
By who?
No
By
way.
Who?
No
By
way.
Who?
There's if Jake Gensel's playing in basically a beer league, and someone takes a run at him, there's other NHL guys playing. Someone will level that guy and kill him.
There's always that one guy that's not going to care about that, because he's going to go home and be like, yeah, I just took his knees out, and then all the other guys came over and whooped my ass. Because that he's going to be sitting there in his recliner for 40 years telling that story every 6-7 months to whoever's going to listen.
That's why you have a Ty Domi type just sitting on the bench.
Is Goddard coming off the bench? Is that what you want to see?
Coming off the bench, yeah. You ain't going to be telling anybody for 6 to 7 months because your jaw's going to be wired shut. You're going to have to use a speaking spell to get through to that.
I don't see there being an enforcer there to be like, we're going to govern the game ourselves like they do in the real NHL. I just like I said, it comes back to you're not making money in this league. I get it if it's a nagging injury, and regardless if you played in this league or not, or you played, first game, preseason game in October or whatever, September, and it was going to be re-aggravated, then I still understand, but it just doesn't look good for Jake Gensel himself to go and almost jeopardize himself whenever you have this nagging injury.
It's just dumb, and it's like, it just goes to show that maybe he doesn't have the mind of a true professional, will he take that next step to be that's how we saw him. We saw him as the next team leader,
right?
Like now it says, do you not have the best interest of the team? Because you're going out, you're jeopardizing yourself when you're our young star, because you're next up. We can't have you getting hurt. Do you have the best interest of the team? Or are you going to change the young guys and get these ideas in their head? I don't know. It's going to be a year to see if we can trust Jake Gensel too.
That's a bit overblown, I think. It's just he's in a beer. I mean, that's kind of overblown. I'd say.
Not really.
Yeah. I mean,
but is he a team leader though? You don't see Sidney Crosby or any guys like that ever playing beer league, do you?
Eddie Kane was until he got caught. But I mean,
Exactly.
that's just overblown. I think that's a Jag statement right there that Gensel's not a professional.
Well, it's just a conversation starter. Dan, what did you think?
What's that?
Do you think he should question his leadership mentality after that, or his future leadership mentality?
I could see it both ways. I really could. I could see that he's just a guy. How old is Jake Gensel now?
Gotta be like 28, I bet.
Jake Gensel. Because here's the thing. He could just be a young kid, 28. That's really not young. I think that you gotta look at the grand scheme of things, and if you're doing it, who's to say that the younger cats coming in that you're supposed to mold and be a example for think that, who's to say that they don't think that, oh, he did it, why can't I? I could see that, but then I could also see just somebody who wants to just go play some hockey. I get that. Because like Crosby told Malkin years ago, because Crosby would come into camp fresh as hell, looking like he didn't miss a beat. And Malkin would come in and it would take him 2 to 3 weeks just to get his legs back under him. And Crosby said you take a week off at the beginning of the offseason, and then for every day after that, you're on the ice. So if it's just a way to get on the ice, maybe a little bit of competition so it's not monotonous and you're not just out there. Because, let me ask you two. If you're out there at the gym and you're just shooting, right? And it's just you're just shooting. How boring is that? You're running up and down the court by yourself, just shooting.
Yeah.
Doing layups. But then you get the opportunity, hey, let's run 5s. Let's run 3s, half court 3s or something.
Let me add it. So there are, and Andrew knows this, but certain places you play, the quality of run that you get, might be lower, might be higher. And you got to know who you're playing with, because it can get dangerous pretty quick. You got to be able to pick your spots, when you're in a certain run with certain people, because some people like to throw their legs under yours. It happened this week to me, I got a couple sets of legs thrown under me. No injuries, but, maybe I shouldn't have tried to do that in front of people that, could have been a liability to injure somebody. But, if you're Jake Gensel, I'm sure he wasn't going hard in the paint, necessarily, or maybe it's just a freak injury or a freak tweak or something. We don't truly know what happens. But if you're him, I'm sure you can pick your spots and when to not put yourself in danger, put yourself in harm's way at risk of hurting yourself, I guess. That's probably just about it. I mean, who knows what happened. But either way, it's just kind of, a little downer on, or no, it was a downer, but I think it kind of got shaded away whenever we finally got Erik Karlsson, which seemed like we're working on for weeks. So that was a nice little treat on the Penguins side of things. It's been quiet for months ever since Dubas was finally hired, and then he named himself the GM. So
all right, I'll say this. I'm looking at some of the rosters that play in the Beauty League. I'm not saying that the competition is going to be less or anything, because you have some ex-NHLers here, Brock Nelson.
I see being a big three, that kind of league.
Kinda. But then you get a lot of I know JJ Watt played in it a couple years ago. George Kittle's played in it before. And then you get some internet personas on there, the guys, I can't remember their names.
Probably a celebrity all-star kind of league. Is that what it is?
But you get guys that have played puck before, or they're on YouTube playing hockey, in beer leagues or whatever. So I wouldn't say that these guys are out there gonna be,
it's not
taking runs or anything.
Right, just purely for content, honestly. But that's all it is.
But you never know what's going to happen when you step on the ice. Yeah, there's
speaking of not knowing what's going to happen when you step on the field. I don't mean to change subjects here or anything before we get to the Steelers. But did you guys see the humbling that occurred last night?
Don't talk about that, because one of them people's my Jag.
Is it the guy who got?
No.
What?
No.
Oh, was it Eloy Jimenez?
No.
It better not be.
Huh?
Is it Jose Ramirez?
No.
Oh. No, I don't care then.
Is it? Don't say the umpire.
No. I'll get to it. Or do you want me to get to it now?
Let's just do it.
Mid-episode Jag. Is that what you want?
I'm calling this one my mid-episode humbling of the year so far.
Okay, go ahead.
Because Tim Anderson, noted baseball disrespecter.
Right.
And he squares up, Jose Ramirez. Yeah, he squares up, gets a couple, punches in, and then Jose Ramirez just drops him. And you see the video of him getting basically carried off. He's wobbling. Do you see what he said? That was a cheap shot.
Yeah, cheap shot.
You squared up first and got rocked. What did you think?
What happened to make him do it? It looked like Jose Ramirez just slid in, and then
I think he tagged him high. When he came down to tag him, I think he caught him in the head, and Jose Ramirez took offense to it, and that's fine.
And did you see what Ramirez said basically?
What's that?
He's disrespectful. He's been disrespectful to the game.
Yeah.
So that's clearly Anderson clearly doesn't have a good rep among Major League. And for him to get humbled like that last night, it was just hilarious to watch, to be honest.
Here's my thing with it. If a base runner goes hard into second base and kind of slides at a shortstop or a second baseman, they take offense to that, right? So you tag me high, I take offense to it, and you drop your glove, and I say something to you, you drop your glove, and you put the dukes up, be ready to get hit. Here's my thing. Michael Kopech, Jag.
The pitcher?
Yes, the pitcher.
What?
I don't care if you're the pitcher or not. You see a guy swinging on your second baseman shortstop and you don't grab him. He could have had Jose Ramirez like in a full Nelson. Nope.
I don't know about that.
Watch it again. No. Because he kind of was tentative about
Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez is a big boy. I don't know how big.
No, Kopech's bigger than him.
And what I'm saying, what if Kopech doesn't?
He's a wide boy.
What if he doesn't pick him up?
What if he doesn't like Tim Anderson? What if there's some animosity between teammates and he's like, hey, I'm gonna let you get tagged.
I still think Kopech's the Jag in that position because, like I said, if you're the pitcher, right, and you throw someone high and tight, and the batter takes offense to it, you expect your catcher to step in. You expect your first baseman, your shortstop, whoever, to get in between you in that 66 feet and 6 inches or whatever, 60 feet and 6 inches between home plate and the mound. Somebody to get involved there. Like I said, he could have just grabbed him by the back, he was just like kind of tentative and didn't want to get in there.
That was one of the first.
He would have looked like Father Pat from Semi-Pro getting dragged around the court.
No,
if Kopech had to grab Ramirez, oh yeah.
No.
But the thing is that was strange to me was the length of the whole situation because like the longest one we've ever probably seen was the Jose Bautista, like they usually, and that wasn't even that long, but it just felt like it was a long altercations. Like you had a chance to like get in each other's faces. You had a chance to like drop the dukes for a couple of seconds and then swing for like 3 or 4. That was like it seemed pretty long before anyone got involved, know? Like there's usually like a nice pile up by then. It wasn't like that either. It was like a 5-second long startup.
Yeah, it took
what
it
if
a second.
Tim Anderson's not liked in the clubhouse?
Well, maybe no one gave a crap about.
If he disrespects baseball like that, yeah.
Did anyone swing on Ramirez after he did it? No. They just dragged their boy off. Like,
I'm thinking he's not well liked because there's 3 pitchers in MLB history that you do not want to mess with. All right. Number 1, Nolan Ryan lived for this shit. Ask Robin Ventura. He had him in a headlock and was feeding him Thanksgiving dinner, dude.
He's getting a lawnmower started on him.
Joe Kelly.
Yep. Joe Kelly. Yep.
A menace, and I love it. I love it.
He was 3 or 2 nights ago.
AJ Burnett.
Yeah.
He'd be scrapping in there. Honorable mention though for baseball and going at it. I don't know if you've ever seen the clip. I forget who it was. The Red Sox and someone charged the mound. And right when this guy's getting ready to throw a punch coming up from the plate, who do you see? It looked like present-day Kendrick Green out in the flat. Big Mo Vaughn just came out of nowhere with the running shoulder. Did you ever see that, Dan?
No, I got to look it up now. Mo Vaughn?
He blindsided the guy. Mo Vaughn. He is probably like at least 250, big boy, power hitter. He ran in from first base and absolutely blindsided someone, turned him inside out. That's what I want to see right there.
I'm going to watch it.
There's not many fights in baseball.
Oh, here it comes. Here it comes. Oh wow!
Like, it's got to be awesome to be like lead dog in that situation where you can take like
He
a nice
never saw
liberty at
him
somebody.
ear-hole him. He ear-holed him.
Dude, hold on, Ryan, you got to watch that video and move on. The camera zooms in on the guy charging the mound, getting ready to throw a punch, and Mo Vaughn just comes out of nowhere and absolutely ear holes him, like shoulder to head, and just turn him inside out. Those would be the 4 guys you won't want to mess with.
Honorable mention, I think Roger Clemens, the Rocket, because he was just roided out though, so you never knew he was a wild card. But
you talking just pitchers?
Yeah, just pitchers.
Was he the one that threw the bat at Mike Piazza after it broke? Was that Clemens?
Yes, that was Roger Clemens.
Yeah.
So
if he's using a weapon on the field, that's.
But you always think back to scraps, and I think the best one I ever saw was the Russ Martin and was it Gomes from Milwaukee? Gomez. That one,
whenever it was Garrett Cole, he slid in, set in Garrett Cole, and then Travis Snyder came out of nowhere. Like
that was a good one.
Jukebox hero playing at PNC, and Travis Snyder came out of nowhere.
Because that melee went on for a while because it started, got diffused, and then started up again.
Oh yeah.
Maldonado sucker punch Snyder after because
then the bullpen's cleared. I think that's what like rattled the Hornets' nest a little because those guys want to get on it too.
Well, you know who was coming out of the bullpen there for the Jared Hughes, full sprint.
Yeah.
What's the one thing you guys would do? And that's it. There's only one right answer. If you're like not like the first involved, if you're not in that first like shell of the onion, but you're like kind of a side guy, what do you do? There's one right answer. There's a certain liberty you can take.
Like if I'm not initially in it.
That's not in the scrap, but you're kind of like the guy that's like holding everything together. Like what do you do?
I wouldn't hold anybody back. But I wouldn't take a sucker punch on anybody.
No, you're not like a holder. You're like kind of one of the last troops in. Like things are kind of diffusing them, but there's still something going on. And like what do you do?
I'd want to spark it back up, to tell you the truth. I wanted to get.
Yeah, but like, how do you do it?
I don't know. I'd throw the rosin bag at somebody. Throw.
Close. That's what I was thinking. You got dirt all around you. Sneak a little hand of dirt,
pocket
in the eyes, and someone goes like this, and it's like kicking the hornet's nest.
I was thinking like, how they bring out the bucket of bubble gum after a walk off and just yuck that thing. Bubble gum everywhere.
Yeah.
So there's 2 different things, though, like creative ways to go about it. You can do the Pedro Martinez approach, where you find like the 85-year-old base coach and you just throw him down on his head.
Yeah,
Zimmer. And then the second one, which was in the minors, I believe. I don't know, you guys probably remember this clip. The guy gets, drilled high and tight. He's thinking one step ahead because you charge the pitcher, the catcher's going to come out. He turned around, just kicked the catcher right in the chest and dropped him, and then made the beeline for the pitcher. He was playing chess. Everyone else was playing checkers.
Yes.
You should try like pantsing somebody. That'd be hilarious.
Did you guys see the clip from this week too? I don't know what league it was. It wasn't the minors. It might have been independent ball. Some fan was chirping like the first baseman, I believe, and he ranged over to catch a foul ball out of bounds or out of play. Caught it, and then he just made a beeline and ran into the stands. Go after the guy.
Wow.
Independent ball. The beers, probably 10-cent beer.
Yeah.
Night. The beers were flowing. Some fans getting a little too mouthy. That's where you get the out. Then you just make a beeline for the stands. He might have had a penny loafer on. He saw an opportunity to beat a fan.
Where's Milbury? Where was he at? He might have been there. He might have been there.
First, it was a celebrity game.
But yeah, you see a lot of that now. I don't know when it's from, but the Arena League, right? I don't know if it's just happened or but have you guys ever seen John Boy on TikTok?
John Boy Media?
Yeah. So I just saw one. It was in an arena game, and this kid, there was an onside kick, and this player got destroyed. Never saw it coming. And this kid was chirping him, like making fun of him. He went in the stands after. This kid had to be 10, 12 years old. 10, 11, 12, something like that. And the mom was like, oh, he's a kid. What are you doing? And then some males, some adult males were like trying to back this kid up. And the guy started walking away. And then this lineman comes up in there and all hell broke loose. Like, I'm all for, take your lumps. You're out there. You got hammered. It's a kid, but you're going to go up there and try to like play Mr. Muscles in front of a 12-year-old. And then your buddy's going to come up there because you're going to get your ass beat. Like, get out. Like, there's a reason there's fans in the stands, and they're there to watch you. They paid to watch you. And now you're going to take, liberties at kids. Like, you're just a piece of trash.
Yeah, you're going after anybody under the age of 18, really.
Yeah.
Like, you're a jag if you do that. Like, I was at the Pirate game on Tuesday, I believe. Yeah, I was sitting out in center field, right by, dead center, and I was just chirping Riley Green the whole time. He went back for a ball, absolutely whiffed on it, hit the wall, he's laying there. I'm like, way to read that one, Riley. He keep looking back at me, and then there was a couple singles left in right field. He's backing him up. I was commenting, I was like, hey, great hustle, Riley. Way to back him up there. Look alive. He keeps looking back up, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not being foul. No. I was just getting under his skin.
Yeah.
And the next day he went yard, and I'm sure he was out there looking for
you. Yeah.
I know where to be found. I vacated pretty quickly.
I see. I'm okay with that. Like, as long as you're not hurling, obscenities at him or nothing like that. Because I remember whenever we were sitting out in the bleacher seats, this is years ago, and Gomes was playing for Milwaukee. He's playing left field, and the guy just kept going, hey, Gomes, you like fish sticks? Just kept asking him. He turns around, he's like, eh. He looks at him, he's like, you're a gay fish. And because that was when the episode of the South Park episode come out with Kanye West, and I thought it was hilarious. My old man was losing it. I was probably 16, 17 at the time, so it was a long time ago. But you see them on the internet all the time. Hey, right hand tits, left hand ass. A little tasteless, but as long as you're not, mother effing them and stuff like that, you're not, talking about their mamas or nothing.
Kids around too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because once you start getting vulgar with it, you need to vacate the premises to get taken out of there.
Like, if it's good fun and you're able to get under their skin without stooping to that level, like, you're seen as like, that's pretty funny. Like, you're the funny guy in the stands.
Yeah.
Like, the funny ones are the ones that use like their gameplay, or like, they screw up, or like they're getting in their head, or like, those are the good ones. The bad ones are like, you could hear anybody like drop F-bombs at a player, and it's like, I'm sure he's heard that 30,000 times before. Like, if you're the guy that's like saying like sun in your eye when he's like in a foul ball, or like shoes untied, or like watch out when he's like running towards the wall, like you're the funny guy. You're gonna have an impact on that game if there's a ball in his direction.
Yeah, no, and the only person I've ever seen get like actually upset at something that wasn't even vulgar or anything was back whenever the Pirates were in their pennant, back when they had their pennant race days with Kutch, and the first time everything. We were out on the Clemente wall on Sunday night baseball, and Ryan Braun was in right field for the Brewers right after he came off his suspension. And our one buddy, he just kept yelling at him, RGB, which are his initials. He kept chanting RGB, HGH at him, and he turned around and flipped him off on the Clemente wall. And then he got the last word in because Braun hit a 2-run homer to win the game. But he was every inning just yelling that at him, and everyone started chanting it at him, and he was getting pissed. Like, hey, you're the one that got busted for roids. You got to live with that a little bit. You can't be flipping fans off. You can't be getting butthurt over that. Take your punishment. You got suspended. You're going to be hearing chirps from anybody in any stadium about it. But Ryan Braun, he's a jag. I think he was easy to dislike. Braun, Gomez, those Brewers teams, they were
they got they were
a team, but
they were an all right team, but it's just they were smug about it. There's something like that, because they never gave the Buccos, back then, any respect. And why should you? But when that team starts rolling, the Buccos start rolling like they were, you kind of have to give them respect. And they just it almost felt like they didn't want to give them respect, even though that they were probably the best team in the NL Central at that time. But when you're always the doormat in the NL Central, it happens. You get a team like Milwaukee, even St. Louis at the time. They're not going to give you respect. So it's easy to dislike players on those teams. Even Cincinnati, because they had that I can't remember their closer at the time. He was because he went at it with
Amir Garrett.
Yeah, I think he got into it with Snyder, I think, or somebody a few times.
He charged the Buccos dugout a couple years ago, 1-on-26, which, hey, I don't like you, but
yeah, him and Javier Baez still go at it, and they're not even on their the same teams that they were. Garrett's not playing for Cincinnati. Baez isn't playing for Chicago, but they still have that hatred for each other. Yeah.
No, it's easy to dislike. I think like there's a difference. Like other players' team, that you're rivals with. Like, back in the day, the Cubs, it was easy to dislike Javi Baez just because he had the personality. Where some of the Pirates did too, but those are the guys when you're in rivalry games like that. It's just easy. They get under your skin, under your skin as an opponent's fan, let alone the team. But, same thing with the Cardinals. They were always acting like, they're the best team in the majors. And, the Brewers, like you said, Braun and Gomez were their two best players. Gomez was a loudmouth. Braun got suspended for steroids. So that's, that gives you that extra motivation to just, chirp them a little bit more. But, yeah, hey, all in good fun, though, right? Unless you're getting, like you ran, unless you're getting vulgar. That's just part of the game right there.
Yeah, don't.
That's just bad taste. Like, you can be better as a fan. Like, just because you pay for a ticket doesn't mean you can spout absolute nonsense that honestly no one else wants to hear except you.
Yeah,
or throw stuff too. I've seen fans throwing stuff. Yeah. I remember I was at a Buccos game in left field. They were playing the Tigers years ago. The Tigers were mollywopping the Pirates. Matt Stairs is probably pinch hitting for the Pirates. It was like 05. And this fan in the front row kept turning around and, he's giving guff to the Pirate fans. And someone just got fed up. And next thing you know, you see a Quaker steak chicken wing going at the guy, hits him in the cheek and like stuck there because there was just a ton of sauce on it. And it just slid down. And he's like, who throws a chicken wing? Yeah. It's like Austin Powers, who throws a shoe, that kind of thing. Yeah, keep that out of there. But, all in good fun.
Yeah, because you got to think you're not going to do that at a high school event, right? You're not going to yell at kids, vicinities, your vulgarness, you're not going to throw, anything like that. And if you do, you're a piece of trash. Do it at the professional level too. Like you go to enjoy a game. Sure, you want to chirp a little bit. Just don't get vulgar with it. Because I can't get down with that. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to take my kids to these sporting events and they like to go. Owen doesn't really care to watch the baseball game, but he's there because he wants to see the mascots or he wants to see the pierogi race and all the other stuff up on the Jumbotron and stuff. That's fine. That's his thing. I got my kids there. You start, MF-ing this and MF-ing that, and, you want to throw some obscene words out there, we're going to have a problem.
And it makes it uncomfortable for everyone around too. Like I've seen people get thrown out of games and it just makes it sours the day. It sours the experience. And like, what are you going to remember from that day? Like say years later, you're like, hey, remember when that one Joe Schmo got like thrown out by his collar and his loop on his belt? That's what you're going to remember. Your kid isn't going to remember, I had a good time at the ballpark. He's remember that Jag that was like, had like one extra Bud Light and just got like thrown out by his pant rung.
Yeah.
Should come to some of our summer league games, Dan. There's people getting chucked out of there left and right. It's a summer league high school game. People are getting tossed out. Like Ryan said, what are you going to remember that? Hey, remember last year when you called the ref a pervert and got thrown out of a summer league game?
See, like you can't do that. That's kind of disgusting as a adult. And if you're there to watch your kid play, what people don't understand, those refs, coaches, they take time out of their day, out of their summer to let your son, your daughter, whoever go play a summer league game and get better for themselves. And you're going to act like that. Then what does that show your kids?
It shows you that they're going to do it too. Cause they think, hey, my parents are doing that. That means I can too. Or even some kids are probably saying, an adult did that. So I can do that too. Not even your parent. Yeah. So like,
You always got to think as an adult, you're setting an example for younger kids, younger adults even, that hey, that's okay. No, it's not. When it comes down to it, those people are taking time out of their lives for your kids to play a sport and get better themselves, be better yourself. It's just a human being. That's what it comes down to.
Activity. I know there's competitiveness in sports, and there's like times when emotions run wild, but there's like enough craziness in the world that you don't need to add on to that whenever your kid's playing a sport. Like, because that sports take your mind to a different place. It takes you away from the troubles of everyday life. You might be having a bad day, but some of the kids, like, that's like the best part of their day, just being able to go out, play, like be with their friends, compete against other kids. And it just takes away from all that. And it just makes a situation where it could be the best part of your day just another part of a crazy world that you already live in. So, you got to think of it that way too.
It's at every level too. We got a guy that plays bocce with us at umpires, all over. And he was saying he had to kick out a 44-year-old guy out of a beer league softball game because he was throwing tantrums and complaining and everything. Like, what are you doing at that point? You're in an adult softball getting tossed out of a game.
So here's the thing. I played beer league softball, and I enjoy it. I really do. Haven't played in a few years, but there was a team in the one league, two teams actually, who thought they ran the league. And they would bitch and moan about every call. They would, if a call went against them, they got all sour and they would just start, swearing. And excuse me, the one thing in the one rule we had was if you start swearing, like MFing people, you're gone. Mm-hmm. It's umpire's discretion. They gave him a warning. Did it again. He starts tossing people, and then they want to like fight. Oh, we'll wait for you, but. First off, it's a beer league softball game. Second off, you peaked in high school. Third off, you're going to try and fight the ref or the umpire. I'll wait. Wait for me. I'll be out there. I'll be out center field right when this game's concluded and we're done beating you because you guys want to act like you're the best and you run this league and you don't. That's the thing. Everybody's so entitled anymore. It's ridiculous. And back to Ryan's point where sports, like, it's an alternate reality that almost gets you away from everyday life. Look back when we had COVID and everybody was lost without sports because you didn't have that distraction from the real world. Everything was shut down. So like everybody was just like, oh, what are we going to do? Enjoy sports at whatever level it is. Enjoy sports how you have it now because you never know when it could get taken away from you. Just enjoy it and don't be a jag.
Not to mention, everywhere you look, people are pushing like doom and gloom and like this is going to go wrong and like the world's going to end. So like, why drag more negativity in when you don't have to?
Right.
Like when you're an adult, especially playing sports, personally, like I'm not going to argue balls and strikes, ball possession, like if you call a foul on me, I didn't foul you, sure, whatever. I might be a little like irritated, but I'm not gonna be like, no, like running down the court. Like I'm happy to just be there. I'm happy to get some exercise, like get some cardio in that isn't running on a strip treadmill, like looking straight ahead. Like it's healthy for you. That's what you should see it as, like getting out with the guys, like being able to still play a game a little competitive that, you shouldn't be able to play after you turn a certain age. Like you're still able to play, like on an organized level, I guess.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. Yep. Because once you stop playing those sports, like I don't play anything anymore. I went and played volleyball a couple months ago and I was hurting. I wish I would still play beer league softball because I know some people say, oh, well, you played at this league. It's not as good. I don't care if I'm playing with the best beer league. I'm not on the long ball bombers, circuit. I'm not, in the professionals of beer league softball. I don't have the big time. It was just something to keep me active and I'll probably get back into it. Anybody's looking for somebody who can just pound the snot out of a ball and play first base. I'll play some outfield too. Give me a call next year. Probably the best free agent.
Utility man, Dan Couch.
Best free agent in the AK Valley.
I feel like swinging a bat. I've been wanting to swing a bat like all summer. Even just getting like people together and just going to play,
We used to go play Herman Derby up at the Gilpin. Me, Luke, Chaps, a bunch of guys. Well, we'd have 8 or 9 guys out there. I'd throw, Luke would throw. But we would just go up to the senior league field. It's not very, it's not a deep fence or anything, but we just had fun shagging fly balls. hitting some
Yeah, like
dingers.
not even have to play, just have like fielders out there and
Yeah.
people taking cuts,
And
like bucket of balls.
It was something just to get outside and stay active. It's fun. Maybe we'll have to do that then. We'll have to set something up.
Yeah, I think I have some baseballs in the garage. I definitely have a bat, a couple gloves. So.
I have a whole bucket of balls downstairs. I probably have 50, 60 balls downstairs.
Yeah.
Fair.
So
Hey,
maybe like 2 Saturdays from now, maybe. Not
Okay.
next Saturday, but next Saturday, maybe. Not next Saturday, but the next Saturday.
okay. Let
Or
me know.
something. We'll get
Yeah,
something going.
We'll figure
Get a
something
little
out.
like Sandlot moment going. As long as you don't line one back at the mound and like ear hole me.
We there's a like a net that we put up, like a pitching net, so you're not in immediate danger. So we put that up just because you never know. You know, one coming back pretty quick, and you're just worried about lobbing them in there. I got a glove full of balls. I can't protect myself, so yeah, we put the net
I
up.
want to get on the bump and throw some gas though too to see if I can like pound the strike zone.
All right,
You know,
yeah,
not like necessarily the batter because I'm afraid I'd hit like someone with a pitch, but I just want to see if I still got gas because I was a good 4th grade pitcher. I threw a 1-hitter in an all-star game, so I want to see if I can still pound the strike zone.
best of the
should
best
that
and
be
fourth.
how we determine the draft order for fantasy this year? Whoever can hit the longest ball first pick.
Wait, isn't your cousin's in our league? I don't know. I might.
Yeah, he's not here. Oh yeah, he's in Detroit.
Yeah, true.
Oh well, but he's last.
We can put like a twist on it.
What's the
You have
twist?
to like, I don't know, like we cover the bat in like grease or something.
No, dizzy
and-
bat.
Yeah.
Dizzy bat.
Yeah, not dizzy.
Yeah.
Bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
Dizzy
Or
bat.
blindfolded first to make contact, or how many pitches it takes you to make contact. That would take forever. 'cause-
Yeah.
yeah. You wouldn't be able to do that.
No, but yeah, that's coming up too. That's
Yeah.
coming up too. Year 2, Youngzers Fantasy League. We have had one dropout under not great circumstances. Ryan, you got our 10th guy, correct?
Yeah, let's ask. I keep forgetting.
An Irishman, Josias.
Well,
So-
I'll ask him, yeah.
Are we
Yeah,
still?
we'll have that coming up.
We're gonna do the live draft again at your place?
We'll have to figure that out. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll figure that out.
All right.
Yeah. A live draft, and this first Steelers preseason game, I believe, is Friday. So, what next week we'll have our season preview. We get a
We should do 2 weeks. I won't be here next week.
right, 2 weeks, 2 weeks
Okay.
Steeler preview. Yeah,
That just makes it closer to the
Yeah, 'cause
start of the season. So
Yeah. So that's Steeler, Penguin, no Pirates. I'll let you guys have your moment. No Bucko
I
talk.
did want to touch Steelers real quick. Like Corey Trice going down, injury. That's tough. There was a lot of high hopes for him. Darnell Washington looking good, like an athlete. They said that he's dropping some balls though, but I did see the one completion he made. He just looked like a freak out there. And like you said, Kendrick Green running fullback. They said they implemented a little bit of that last year as well, because he was giving them a look for some team. So maybe a package of that. I wouldn't complain. Either that
And
or
I
you cut
know-
them.
I know people say it a lot and like it's everywhere, but I like the Porter Pickens like going against each other. They're gonna make each other a lot better. I know it's been run into the ground for the past week on X. So whatever. But I think it is an actual good thing. It's gonna be cool to see how they iron sharpens iron, you know.
yeah.
But that's all I got on the topic. You guys got Jags?
Well, I already hit mine.
I gave you mine.
Yeah.
Oh, I have an actual Jag. So this is pretty cool. Big Brother started last week. They have a character on there. His name's Jag. So he's the Jag of the week. His name is
Hey.
Jag.
Jag of the week.
So if you're from
name?
Pittsburgh and you watch Big Brother, that's who you want to win. 'Cause his name's literally Jag.
First name's Jag.
It's Jag, yep.
That's cool. Not really. I wouldn't want to be a Jag.
Yeah. I won't want to be an actual Jag.
No.
But yeah, that's it. Youngzers season 2, episode 3. Be back in 2 weeks. They'll hold it down next week.
Dan, one thing before we wrap her up.
Yes.
Next week, no Ryan. We're going off
Off
the rails.
Oh, okay. You got it.
The mega powers are in charge.
All right. We'll see you next week.